Hey, and we're back now. I'm Rod Duff with Insights and Straight Talk. We're a weekly podcast system channel that talks about all things to embrace and encourage and help the great middle class. Without a healthy middle class, a strong middle class, then we don't have a strong America. And I think it's never been more evident than it was over the weekend. And now I voted on a split ticket this year. Sometimes do, sometimes don't. Just depends who's running, what the situation is, right? Just like I assume everybody does. But I understand the competition between Democrats and Republicans. And that's one of the problems, actually, because right now we look at politicians as on a team, the Democratic team, the Republican team. Who's that guy that does the God? I forgot his last name, but anyway, powerful podcaster, great guy, very smart. But he said that this over the weekend here, he said, we got to get out of this, that it's their team or that team. We're all individuals and we're all have interests based on the needs of our families and ourselves and our neighbors. So that really hits home, because if you look at all the things that are going on right now with the pardon, with the blanket pardons maybe coming out, we got to stop this. We got to stop this craziness. If Kamala or Biden would have won, and were capable of the job, I'd be supporting them. I see a lot, and I assume most Democrats support Trump won this election, so let's help him win, because I mean, we want our politician to be successful. We no matter what side of the side you're on, look what's happening right now with the whole Biden thing. Is there's this constant desire to pull the whole system down, because all you're doing is getting yourself reelected. Your job is not to extend your wealth beyond doing the right thing. However you create your wealth while doing the right thing is a good thing. The issues that I have are that while they're in office, they're constantly looking at ways, and this is basically most politicians. I won't say all, but most politicians, they don't come. Well, here's what I've always said: politicians come to the office and then are groomed through the system. In other words, somebody sees something, it's not right. They want to serve their country and go and hit things from there. It's crazy these days. I mean, there's just so many crazy things that are going on, and I want to emphasize that if the Democratic leadership is qualified and in there, I'm supporting that administration completely. As Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So yes, I'm excited about this new administration. I'm excited by the people that are part of the administration. And I'm just amazed at how well they're doing this second go around. If Biden would have been capable and ready, I'd be supporting him. But all I see is the beginning. At the beginning of this term, I see the same thing that they did before, meaning the other team from Trump's team, the Republican team. So a couple things are going on. They're either trying to stay in power, or they're trying to throw so many bombshells out there that they don't discover, excuse me, the new administration doesn't discover corruption, tyranny. That's all in there. And if we look at ourselves straight in the eye, we want whoever's in there to be doing the work of the American people, trustworthy. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Look at the Kennedys. I mean, look at every administration. We're not voting these people in to make us feel good. Well, not that, to lead us on anything other than the need to make America great again. In this case, hey, let me step off camera here for just a second. Hi, that should be better. I was wondering what was going wrong in here. Sorry, I'm one person, and so I got a little production issue I had to take care of. But getting back to what I was talking about is the things that are going on are very, very exciting. In that the great possibility for America to work towards that utopia is this administration that goes in now. However, as I said before, it's trust but verify. My only concern is that the people that are in office today are looking at ways to either grow their own wealth and power or cover up what's happened in the past. I mean, the older people in the crowd remember the Nixon, the Watergate system. This is, in my opinion, this is way beyond that. The people that are in office now are elected to do the American people's bidding are doing what seems to be more and more evident. They're doing everything they can to inhibit, to get in front of any successes that the Republican Party, much less the American people, hope to enjoy. I'm really nervous that they're going to do the same thing that they did last time, in that they threw hand grenades every which way but loose. And what I'm more concerned about is that, well, what I'm hopeful for is that the American people learned from the last time, and they said, what do you mean dictator? What do you mean this? What do you mean that? He's already been in office for 4 years. I mean, Oprah Winfrey said this could be their very last election if it goes to Donald Trump again. I mean, they've called him Hitler and everything else. I'm hoping that all the American people start watching channels that they enjoy leaning to the right, or channels that they enjoy leaning to the left. We can't afford to have a U.S. population just arbitrarily voting for casting uneducated votes is a tough pill, because there's others out there. There's me. I mean, when you vote, you're voting for yourself, but you're also voting for the rest of the American people. You have to be informed, and it's not that hard. I mean, I instead of just sitting and watching a news channel, I'll watch a news channel and then I'll flip over to another channel while they're talking about the issues that they believe are important. I just don't get why people only listen to one series of news or the other. We should know, everybody should know by now, that the media is corrupt. The media doesn't do investigation. The media is there to either help or assist or block for one side or the other. And they just flat out lean one way or the other. And that's not so, that's unfortunately understandable, because, it's been going on forever. I think the last really great time for the American middle class was in the 50s. Now there's been times since that, but I think during that time was when the great American middle class was at its most powerful moment, at its peak, because, well, as its peak as of now. What I'm really looking forward to is having that power back to the American people, because it isn't in the hands of the American people right now. We're guided like sheep, almost like herding cats, right? The thing I'm disturbed about is I hear, now I'm sure they're radical and extremists. I'm really hoping this is a very small amount, but the people shaving their hair and doing the same crazy things that were before, and these other channels are supporting it, and it's interfering with my life, in a small amount, because if you're just voting or you're the 60s and 70s was a turbulent time with a lot of people not rioting, but protesting, and some of it got a little ugly. But at that time, they were at least all voting for something. In other words, they were trying to make the American government get out of Vietnam. My dad did 3 tours there. But I hope that let me just say this. I hope the world moves forward, and I hope that everybody starts really looking at what things are important and what things aren't important. This new administration coming in, I think with DOGE, I think that that's the first step towards utopia. There are trillions of dollars wasted, obviously, left and right, and pocketed. I think if all goes according to being advertised, which last time he was in his administration, he was nowhere near as capable, but he did everything he promised. And that's an unusual thing in today's politics, or maybe in all politics. The original founding fathers, they set up a system that was from the people, for the people, by the people. And what the expectation was to have farmers and doctors and financial people come and serve uh, the country that has been so good for them. Now, we're getting lifelong politicians, and that's really, really, really corrupting the system. No politician, although this administration coming up said that that they're going to eliminate or push, but there's no such thing as term limits, and I can't ever imagine the politicians doing that because their focus is on something different. Their focus is basically on themselves to a great extent. I mean, literally saving their influence, their power, and what should be going on is, believe it or not, look at the Trump. See, this is why I'm getting more and more excited about this. The Trump administration is bringing people from outside of politics, as the founding fathers intended, and started and is surrounding his cabinet, surrounding the people who are coming to do the people's work. They're coming to do my bidding and your bidding, and all people across the middle class. You know, the elites are another thing. You know, they don't feel anything that goes on, at least financially. But the American people, the great middle class, does, and the great middle class is what built America into what it is today. And let's face it, America is the greatest economic, the greatest political, and the greatest and envied by all around the world. The issue of people coming to fight where it doesn't satisfy, it doesn't empower the middle class is a ridiculous and frankly scary thing, that people in our political system really that's a scary thought. So I was talking about the utopia. You know, the pardons are something that's we'll have to see how it happens, but it's kind of bizarre that a great percentage of Americans aren't looking at that and going, man, there's something wrong there. And if you listen to all the channels, I listen to BBC, I listen to I-24, I listen a ton of them. I mean, there's a list to go through, but they're fairly split back and forth. And the reason I started doing that is because you really can't find any news on the news anymore. I mean, yeah, you have your local channel and all that's good, but you don't have real news that is talking about news other than one president or the other. And that's a sad place to be. But I can't believe that almost all Americans, all citizens, don't really question the not the capability, but the what word do I want to pick? That he's not a crook. Forget it. I was going to be clever, but I didn't have that. You know, how are not more people, if not all people, and yes, if you look at only one news station, you're only going to get half of the facts. And there'll be a different set of facts than we saw on the other news channel. That's why I flip around and go to the different news channels, because I want to be informed. This is long before here. I mean, I want to be informed at what are our judicial system, what our Republicans, what are our senators are doing for us to build the great middle class. So at DOGE, you know, again, these people coming not from politics, as intended by the founding fathers. The people that are involved in DOGE, or I mean, one of them's the by far wealthiest man in the world. Now the second at least I think he is. Maybe Bezos is the first. Anyway, one of them. Now he wants to get involved and help deregulate and shrink the size of the government. I mean, the way we've let this happen is our responsibility. We have failed other Americans. Each one of us has failed other Americans by taking our hands off the gutter, or the rudder, and put it in the gutter. What they're doing is because we haven't been paying attention. Now, is politics supposed to be the biggest thing in your life? No, not at all. But it should be, but it is the most important thing in your life, because we're on a tipping point here. If we don't improve our redirect our direction, then we are headed for communism. All the things that I've heard the Democratic Party yell out without facts, just that's the thing, is it drives me. Oh, hi. It drives me onto the point of why are we allowing this as a people? We have drones that are going all over our country now, in New Jersey, South Carolina, and so forth, and they simply aren't. We don't have an answer for what they are. I'm sure you guys have heard of this. There's drones as big as like a Suburban or something. How is this not being addressed? I mean, remember the balloon from China that they shot down after it crossed all the way across the country? They followed it for a little bit, but and honestly, I think that's happened before too. I believe that it happened during Trump's administration, but nobody's talking about it. Which fine, okay. But these drones now we don't have any information. We really didn't get any information from the balloon situation, the China thing, and now we're looking at that the Wuhan virus was a cover up and how it all came about. But the problem is, we watch this news cycle, we watch this story, and we don't hold on to it. If you go back through every politician's life in politics, you're going to see bizarre things they're fighting against tooth and nail that they were supporting 10 years ago. Now, people change their minds, I get it, but that's not the thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that are seriously crooked, people that are seriously not doing the things that are necessary for this country. Like I said, the world, see, and this is what drives me nuts. The world needs a strong America. And I think that was extremely evident in over the weekend when Trump went to the reopening in France of the Notre Dame. I'm not saying that right, but did you see? I mean, in leading up to it, people were flying out here from other countries. People that say they're glad that Trump's gone, and now all of a sudden the leadership coming back. People really see what's happening with the way the world is now turning. We live on that pendulum back and forth, but we don't ever kind of settle in the middle here. So we went from being safe secure and comfortable, and then went into, economic issues, uh, people, communication issues, and of course, the other leadership items around the world, turning into complete chaos. I mean, as we're winding up the Biden administration, Biden Harris, all of a sudden you can see the collapse of that party. And you know what? We need two parties at least, maybe three. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but we need at least two, right? So why is the Democratic Party from this loss acting the way they are? You know, there's something wrong with the way they're acting. And then there's something wrong with the people of the great middle class, a large swath of them not believing everything that's told about Trump, and not believing everything or anything that's told negatively about Biden. I mean, how long did it take for them to actually admit that Biden hasn't really been, first of all, he hasn't been a strong leader at all, but he hasn't been really active. He couldn't have been active. I mean, right now, the people who are unelected, you know, the underbelly of our administration, current administration, is running the country right now. I don't know exactly who, but it ain't Biden. And then you look at when Trump goes over to Europe, over there, they the rest of the world, there's a weight lifted off of us. It was getting scary for a while, but the rest of the world gets it. You know, they get it. We are the reason the earth is in flames constantly. Look at how Trump is going in to settle these conflicts, and he's going to tell them what to do, and they're going to do it, because we are, as Americans, as America, that powerful. We are, as the great middle class, should be proud for putting America in this position. Again, we need our leaders, and they and business tycoons, or big businesses, to develop and create things. But the driving engine behind all those things is the great middle class of the American people. There is no reason. It's almost foolish. Like the politicians are trying to drain the money out, everything they can to put in their pockets, while driving the country into the ground. I'm not the only one who says this. I mean, the great middle class is the reason America is great. The reason that America stands so high in the rest of the world. Appreciate all the comments you guys are saying coming in. Let me see. The quality here is unmatched. Wow. Thank you. You're really nailing the storytelling here. Well, I was hoping there was a question or something. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or blow smoke up my dress. I don't know if any of you have heard that comment before, but the bottom line is, if the politicians really believed in the founding of this country, they would completely support focus to the middle class, completely to the middle class. And yet the opposite's happening. People are just constantly looking at ways to diminish, to separate, and to antagonize, and to look down on the middle class. And yeah, okay, elites have a 1%, they're at the 1%. They have great they've through their own efforts and this country, they've gathered great wealth. Assuming that that came all legitimately on an individual by individual case, I get it, but and applaud it. But when are people going to realize that if this great middle class is not strong, then America is not strong? And we just saw how America hasn't been strong around the world, and look what's going on. I mean, the thing is just toppling everywhere. So with that, I just want to get in and touch a couple points about the direction and the items that were happening. Democrats, please support this president. Independents, I think you already do, but I know I do. But always trust but verify. Start talking to your neighbors about, hey, what do you think about this DOGE thing? Or become more educated, more informed, become more ready to make a decision that benefits America each and every voting cycle. You owe it to me. I owe it to you. I owe it to the people down the street and the people in the next state and the people on the West Coast, people on the East Coast. I owe that because the election has an effect on the way the country is headed, one way or the other. And so I hope that vote is educated. And in the meantime, I hope that certain politicians don't get away with the pure lies. I hate it when I hear somebody say, he's this, and it just gets repeated and repeated and repeated, and nobody ever challenges it. One side or the other, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But they should be pushed back on that. Okay, and on both sides, again, trust but verify. So I'm gonna cut out here. I gotta get to the other office here. I gotta get some other work done. But I just wanted to step in here and say, although I'm an independent, and like I said, I voted a split ticket because the only dog in this race that I have is the great middle class. That's what matters, because it helps the entire world to have an American great middle class that is supporting the greatest nation in the world. I'm not being biased, but go back and look at the tapes of how world leaders were treating this guy that's Hitler, this guy that's evil. Everybody is understanding that we were on the way to collapse. We could be Syria. We can't be Syria, but what happened to Rashad, it could happen to us, and we're a completely different country. With that, I'm going to sign off. I love you guys very much. I love this ability for me to have an outlet. This show is quite literally saved my life. And with the direction things are going, I just hope that we can all come together. I don't care about Democrat or Republican. I care about the great middle class. And they're made up pretty much equally of each side. So let's start talking to each other. Let's start hanging out with our neighbors. Let's start gathering information from other people's opinion, willing to listen. And you have two ears and one mouth. You should be listening twice as much as you talk, except for me on this channel. Anyway, with all that, I love you guys. Say hi to somebody, wave at somebody, make another acquaintance. You see a person walking their dog, compliment the dog thing. That's a thing, obviously, they love. So do the things that the American founding fathers envisioned. Do the things that the founding fathers incorporated into the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, anticipating that this country has the opportunity to move to a utopia. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rod Duff. This is Insights and Straight Talk. Oh, I got one of my, and produced by IMS, independent media source. And I'm going to do a couple of these this week, just kind of hitting certain items. So tune back in. And like I said, I love you guys. See ya. Bye for now.